Welcome to The Explainer. If you're tuning into this, chances are you might be staring at a half-finished kitchen, a completely silent phone, and that gut-wrenching realization that your contractor has just vanished. It's a total nightmare, right? It leaves you stranded in this dusty construction zone, wondering what on earth went wrong. Well, today, we're going to transform that panic into a calm, methodical, and legally defensible playbook to help you navigate this exact crisis. Okay, let's dive right into this. The absolute worst thing you can do right now is act purely on emotion. And hey, that anxiety and anger you're feeling, it is 100% valid. But the goal of this explainer is to give you a clear-eyed strategy to protect your investment, mitigate your losses, and ultimately protect your sanity. First off, take a deep breath because you are absolutely not alone. Industry estimates actually show that as many as 1 in 10 major renovation projects face a significant dispute or delay related to contractor performance. It's a staggering statistic. The big question in the home improvement industry right now is no longer if this happens, but exactly what to do when you find yourself right in the middle of it. Now, we need to ground this problem in reality before we start looking at solutions. Finding someone to take over a partially completed job is incredibly expensive. You should expect to pay a completion premium of 30 to 50% higher than your original quote for the exact same scope of work. Why? Because the new contractor is taking on a massive risk by inheriting another crew's potential defects and entirely unknown conditions hidden behind those half-finished walls. And then, oh boy, there's the timeline. This is our second hard truth today. Getting a new, reputable crew mobilized and actually on your site is going to add an average of 3 to 6 months of delays to your project timeline. And remember, that doesn't even account for any demolition or rework that the new crew might have to do just to fix the old crew's hidden mistakes. And here is the final statistical blow. If you need to bring in an attorney or a construction consultant to assess the damage and sort out the legal mess, those consulting fees typically range from $2,000 to $10,000. That right there is exactly why immediate, methodical damage control is vital. You've got to mitigate these financial hits by establishing a crystal clear case for breach of contract right from the start. So, we've got a massive contrast here between what you desperately want to do and what you actually must do. Your instinct is probably to grab your phone, rage post a negative review online, publicly shame them, or just immediately hire the first available person to finish the job. Stop right there. Hiring someone new without formally terminating your first contract can actually put you in breach. You could literally end up legally obligated to pay 2 different companies for the exact same work. You have to pivot from project management to risk management. So, the crucial point is you must pause and execute this triage process instead. Step 1, secure the site. Protect your property from the weather and liability. Get the exposed framing tarped and lock the doors. Step 2, communicate formally. Shift entirely away from casual text messages and switch strictly to certified mail to create an undeniable paper trail. Step 3, review the contract. You are looking specifically for termination clauses and the right to cure clause, which legally gives the contractor a set number of days to return and fix the issue. To build that defensible case, there are 3 critical questions every homeowner absolutely must ask before calling a new builder. First up, what does my contract say about abandonment and termination? Think of your contract as your governing roadmap. It dictates the exact legal procedure for declaring a default. A solid, legally protective answer to that first question sounds exactly like this. Section 8.2 states I must provide a written notice of default via certified mail and give the contractor 10 business days to cure the breach before I terminate for cause. Following this exact phrasing and procedural sequence, that is what shields you from an expensive counterclaim. All right, once the contract is reviewed, we hit question 2. What is the exact financial and physical status of the project right this second? You need a crystal clear, highly detailed inventory of the finished work, the stored materials currently on site, and all the incomplete tasks, perfectly weighed against the actual money you have paid so far. Here is your concrete template for how you should document this reality check. I have paid $75,000 of a $120,000 contract. The rough-in is complete, but finishes are outstanding. I have photos of the site dated today and a spreadsheet tracking every payment. You need to stop all payments immediately and create this exact photographic and financial reality check. Now, question 3 is perhaps the most critical for your financial survival. Who holds the use, me or the contractor?
Holding the use simply means determining your current payment status. If you've paid for way more work than has actually been completed, the contractor holds the use. They have your money. But if your project progress matches your payments, you hold the use, meaning you still have the funds required to actually finish the job. And this brilliantly illustrates where you want to be. I've paid for 60% of the job, and 60% of the work is done. I have not paid for cabinetry that was never delivered, so I hold the use. Balancing those payments perfectly with completed work empowers you to control the remaining budget and, ultimately, get the project over the finish line. Let's take a step back for a moment, because it really helps to depersonalize the betrayal you might be feeling. Why is this happening so much in 2026? Well, it's often rooted in macroeconomic pressures, not just a single bad actor out to get you. We have a persistent skilled labor shortage, leaving crews incredibly stretched. High interest rates are squeezing operating lines of credit, meaning underbidding contractors simply run out of cash mid-build. On top of that, the Inflation Reduction Act tax credits have created massive, unprecedented demand for HVAC and electrical specialists, pulling subcontractors away and causing these cascading project failures. This brings us to a massive gray area we see in the FAQs. What is the actual legal difference between a frustratingly slow contractor and an abandoned project? It all comes down to intent and communication. Look, a slow contractor is annoying, for sure, but they still show up, make some progress, and communicate their delays to you. Legal abandonment happens when they go completely silent for a significant period, like 30 days, remove their physical tools from your site, and completely ignore your formal certified notices. Simply being behind schedule isn't automatically legal abandonment. Here's another huge question we see all the time. Can I use the materials the old contractor left scattered on my property? It's a very tricky situation, and one that is absolutely full of hidden legal risks that could cost you dearly. The answer is only if you have explicitly paid for them via documented progress payments with receipts to prove it. If those materials were delivered to your property but not yet paid for, they technically still belong to the contractor or the original supplier. Finders keepers, unfortunately, does not hold up in construction law, and using them could literally be considered theft or conversion. Always check your records and be highly vigilant for supplier liens placed on your property for unpaid materials. You have to resolve those before touching a thing. So, once you are legally in the clear, how do you find someone to finish the job? Finding a completion contractor means entirely changing your strategy. Get trusted referrals, and most importantly, be 100% transparent. Bring your incredibly organized paper trail to the table, the photos, the formal termination proof, the payment spreadsheets. Showing a new builder this proves that you are a highly responsible, risk-free partner. And be fully prepared for them to insist on a brand new, very strict contract separating their warranty from the previous builder's work. Ultimately, from a project management perspective, a renovation success is determined long before the first hammer ever swings. Prevention is the only real cure here. A strong, meticulously detailed contract that strictly outlines payment schedules, exact scope, and default terms is your absolute best insurance policy. Paying for a small upfront legal review is entirely worth the investment to ensure your future conversations are about cabinet finishes, not litigation and liens. Which brings us to our final thought today. I want you to leave this explainer and seriously look at your own paperwork right now. Ask yourself, does your renovation contract actually protect your hard-earned investment, or does it basically just nicely list out your countertop materials? Take the time to get it right before you sign. Thanks for exploring this with me today, and stay protected out there.